Good evening. I'm Jay Carpenter, founder of Desert Blockchain, and tonight is our monthly session on Wednesday, September the 28th, 2022. It's 7 p.m. Arizona time. And for those of you that are not familiar with Desert Blockchain, we have these monthly sessions on the fourth Wednesday of every month, and we cover various topics. And lately, we've been having them on Zoom, and we might change that to have them at Desert Blockchain Camp in the near future, possibly next month, which will be our Halloween session. I think it's on October the 26th at 7 p.m. And we have some cool stuff going on at Desert Blockchain Camp, which you have an image you see behind me. And we've got some Halloween themed items that are happening. We will have an open house on Saturday, October the 8th, starting at 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. So keep an eye out on Meetup for that. And you can see some of our past sessions on our YouTube channel and so forth. But tonight we're going to be talking about DWeb Camp and the Science of Blockchain conference that happened in basically August, the end of August, and the first few days of September. So before we get into chatting with folks that attended one or both of these, I'm going to go back to screen share and just give everybody an idea of what we're talking about here. So this is DWeb Camp 2022, and it happened at Camp Navarro in California, about 3 hours north of San Francisco in the Redwoods. And you could go to dwebcamp.org, which is referenced in the notes to the video session, and you can basically get a feel for the space and some of the folks. This is actually some images from 2019, the first DWeb Camp. But I would like to preface this. This is our DWeb Camp 2019 in a geodesic dome. And I would like to preface this a little bit by saying that it's a little bit misleading, I think, when you take a look at this website, because it kind of looks like a casual yoga retreat, and there's nothing wrong with yoga retreats or anything like that, but you really do not get a depth of the talent, the people that attend DWeb Camp until you really start to dig into the people and some of the topics that are listed here. But you can see Filecoin Foundation, the Internet Archive, which is basically the main organizer of the Internet Archive. But you have some very innovative, cutting-edge projects that are sponsoring this. Blue Sky, we'll talk about a little bit before the session's over, but Blue Sky is an initiative primarily to create like an open version of a social media, and it's basically driven by Jack Dorsey of Square, which is now Block, and also Jack Dorsey was one of the founders of Twitter. And we had the CEO, Jay Graber, at DWeb Camp, but you have the Ethereum Foundation, YOLOCOM, and IPFS, Filecoin, Unfinished. It is an amazing project that had their conference like immediately following DWeb Camp, or just like a week or so ago. And I highly recommend you check out Unfinished, very cutting edge, innovative community in the New York area. But this, for those of you that aren't might not be familiar with DWeb Camp, this is kind of a glance of what the event is, at least the tone and the nature of the event. And then you can go to the People tab here and check out some of the people that attended. And this again is just a very, in my view, a very inspiring group of leaders that are talented in many dimensions and are committed. Not only are they talented, but these people are committed to making a difference for all human beings in terms of peer-to-peer connectivity and capabilities and privacy and identity. So you can just kind of scroll through here. Many of these people are leaders in their field. Some of the people are in the Internet Hall of Fame. And, I could just go on and on for the rest of the hour about the amazing, magnificent people that attended DWeb Camp. I won't at this point, but I just wanted to quickly scroll through to give you a feel for some of the folks that attended. Now, let me also go back up to the top, and I would like to point out the schedule of DWeb Camp, because there were numerous amazing sessions covering a variety of topics, all the way from yoga, Tai Chi, to decentralized identity and privacy. So you can go through this schedule and see the wide variety of topics. A lot of policy was discussed about how to handle non-fungible tokens from some of the very leading thought leaders in the world. Here's Brian Bellendorf, who is in the Internet Hall of Fame. He wrote the Apache server. He also was the head of the Linux Foundation and also Hyperledger. And he did a DJ set. I didn't attend, but pretty amazing. Paul Lindner hosted this viewing of a film called Hack the Planet. And Paul is a leader and a luminary with Google. So I could just go on and on. Just suffice it to say, this was an amazing group of people. And we have some of those folks with us on the Zoom tonight. But before I get off a screen share, I would like to talk a little bit about the other conference that we're going to be going over, which is the Science of Blockchain conference that happened immediately following DWeb Camp. And this was at Stanford University. This was an event that had about 1,000 people that were basically, their applications to attend were accepted. There were over 4,000 applications to attend, and this was an incredible event as well. Very technical, very cutting edge, very academic, and the popularity of the event spawned these 6 workshops that happened sort of adjacent to the Science of Blockchain conference. I attended the formal reasoning about financial systems workshop and also the applied ZK workshop, which I thought were just, both of them were amazing, especially the applied ZK workshop. The videos have not been posted yet for the applied ZK workshop, but in the formal reasoning, you can check out the website if you click this and look at the live stream, and there's 8 hours of recordings. In the DAO workshop, and there are videos listed here. Also, this first annual DeFi Security Summit, I was not able to attend that because I was still at DWeb Camp, but that was amazing. Having watched a little bit of day one. So all of these represent leading thought leaders, technical experts, experts in the field, just incredible gathering of people from all over the world. And then here you can see the some of the topics that were some of the session topics, and you can see the videos for all of these if you click on these links that are associated with each one of the sessions. But we had, let's see, we had Vitalik Buterin speaking. We had just incredible people speaking at this. One of the talks was from one of the technical leaders from Coinbase, and I particularly enjoyed his talk, which was on basically being conservative with, here's the talk that I'm talking about. This one, being conservative with the cryptographic constructs that we use in the DWeb area. So I'd highly recommend that talk. That was actually just before Vitalik Buterin's talk. So that gives you a little bit of a flavor for what we're going to be talking about this evening. Also, I would like to point out this this piece was published by CoinDesk just a couple days ago, showing the top universities in the world, the 50 top universities in the world in the blockchain space, based upon scholarly impact, campus blockchain offerings, employment and industry outcomes, and then academic reputation. And you can see that there are some universities in Asia, all over the world. UC Berkeley is a leader. Cornell, by the way, was one of the sort of co-hosts, co-organizers of the Science of Blockchain conference. And you can see they're ranked number 5. And then number 8 is Stanford, which is where we were at for the Science of Blockchain conference. And it's my understanding the next Science of Blockchain conference will happen on the East Coast next year, next fall, I believe. And it wouldn't surprise me if it was at Cornell University with their, active involvement. So stay tuned for that, and we will talk about the Science of Blockchain conference when it is announced next year. We will also talk about DWeb Camp, when it is announced, and you can follow our conversation and our sessions to keep up to date on these two great events. So with that, I'm going to stop the screen share and basically kind of go around the Zoom and ask folks to share some of their highlights of DWeb Camp and Science of Blockchain. Let me start with my favorite attendee on this session, which is Cindy Carpenter, my wife. And this was Cindy's first DWeb Camp. And she had basically no idea what, not much of an idea as to what this was about. But Cindy, would you mind introducing yourself and then, tell us about what your experience of DWeb Camp was?
Sure. I was relieved when you said my name. I was afraid it might be Chad or Robbie, but it's your favorite. But yeah, Cindy Carpenter. And it was my first DWeb Camp for sure. And I didn't know what to expect. And it was surprising and delightful in every way. It was challenging. There were so many different opportunities to participate in everything from the most technical conversations to, like you said, Jay, like yoga, Tai Chi, some of the activities they had, the opening and closing ceremonies where they had us all bring water from all the different places from around the world that participants came from. I was pretty astonished when they were talking about people from 6 different continents were attending the conference, so many different countries represented. I had no idea the diversity that I'd experienced in going to the conference. And they did a beautiful water blessing ceremony at the opening and then at the closing. And it was just really surprisingly enriching in all aspects, not just from a technical perspective. And the group of people that were there were so engaging and just interested in one another and the ideas and sharing ideas and moving things forward. And I was really pretty surprised being what I consider a non-technical person. All my technical expertise are really just through osmosis and listening to conversations, but I don't do any technical work. And to spend 5 days with at a technical conference and walk away thinking, that was a great experience, great use of my time, enjoyable. It was in such a beautiful setting. I mean, being up in Mendocino and in the redwoods was magical. And so, yeah, I mean, I could go on and on. There was the campfires, there was the parties, there was the one night they had the party where we were wearing these, like it was this silent disco. So everybody had headphones on, but everybody was dancing together and it was so much fun. So yeah, it was a blast. And the food was really great. It was, all the meals were fun. It was always interesting to see who you'd end up at a table with and what conversations would get sparked. In fact, Ravi, you're on the call tonight. One of my favorites was the conversation when we all had dinner together. I know Arun was there and Dinesh and the other guy's name started with an S. I can't remember, but it was so interesting to hear about the projects they were working on. And just like I said, I mean, just so many interesting conversations. So I could go on and on, but there's more people to share. So I'll kind of put the period on that one, but it was really wonderful. Glad I went.
Thank you, Cindy. And I'll just add a little bit to what you were talking about. The people from that were with us at that dinner were from India, and they were working on a mesh networking construct for the communities in their area. And I believe they were both fellows, or they were both part of the fellowship program. So the fellowship program, and I would like to highlight this a little bit, but there were many people that came in from around the world that had applied to the fellowship program, where they were up to various projects that were almost humanitarian in nature, to bring connectivity, empowerment, freedom, services to all sorts of communities from all over the world. And yeah, it was just great to meet them and hear about their passion for their projects and their commitment to seeing something new open up in their particular communities. So if you're listening to this and you are in that realm where you're creating some sort of, project in the decentralized web space that is has sort of a humanitarian nature to it, I would highly recommend you keep an eye on the DWebCamp.org site and apply for a fellowship where you could get most, if not all, your travel expenses covered, and basically be part of the community and share, what you're up to, and connect with others that might be able to, pitch in or assist or contribute to your particular project. So anything. Now, I would like to say that I don't think I mentioned this, but there were about 450 people that participated in this event, which was held on 200 acres in the Redwoods near Mendocino, California, basically from Wednesday, the 24th, I think it was, to Sunday, the 28th. And it's expected that next year's event will be at the same location. It's not definite yet, but Camp Navarro was, I think, a big hit for most of the people. And you know, the indication is that it looks like it's a favored location for next year, which I think will probably be in the July round of 2023, if I'm not mistaken. But none of that's set in stone yet. So anything else, Cindy, you'd like to say? What was your favorite talk or favorite thing that you
I think
encountered?
I don't know if it was one that was surprising. I went to a talk that, I went to a lot of talks that were great. I went to several that were led by somebody named Jay Carpenter that, of course, were my favorites. But the one I'm going to mention was the talk about the new standard for the NFTs that, is it Felipa Primavera?
Primavera.
Primavera.
Right.
And Larry and
Larry Lessig.
yeah, that was surprising
Ian, I
because it was a
think.
very technical conversation. And I walked away actually understanding what it was they were out to accomplish. I wouldn't be able to do any of the development work or the coding or anything like that. But in being able to hear the kinds of questions that some of the campers asked and things like that, it was like I walked away actually understanding what they were doing, why they were designing it, and what they were actually out to make available for people. And I guess I was just surprised that I was able to be in that kind of technical conversation and walk away with an understanding of it. So that was a highlight for me.
Perfect, thank you. And just for those of you that might not be familiar with some of the policymakers and some of the policy and academic experts, Primavera is associated with the Harvard Berkman Center, and she's also funded by an institution in France that's designed to move this whole realm forward in terms of policy. Larry Lessig is one of the most famous luminaries in policy. He came up with the phrase "code is law," and he's associated with Harvard as well. And the other fellow is named Ian, I think, and I can't remember his affiliation, but basically one of the big areas that's missing in this whole decentralized realm is innovation in policy. And they were talking about when non-fungible tokens are remixed, how do you create some sort of licensing agreement around that? And that's a big area that's ripe for innovation and a big question mark. So they've actually written and proposed a standard for that, I believe. And hopefully we'll have some of the videos from these sessions posted soon and you can watch. But it was an amazing gathering of luminaries in multiple dimensions, and they are certainly represent some of those luminaries. So great. Anything else, Cindy, before we move on?
No, thank you. That's
okay. Great. Well, I'm going to go to Ravi because Ravi might have to leave a little bit early. But Ravi, this is your second DWeb Camp event. You were at the first one in 2019, which is about an hour south of San Francisco on the Pacific Ocean. Would you mind introducing yourself a little bit and then talking about what your experience was at DWeb Camp 2022 and DWeb Camp 2019? Let's see. It's like Robbie is coming in. Okay, looks like he had to reconnect. So, and while Robbie, are you with us? While he's connecting, DWeb Camp 2019 had about 400 people in a slightly different setting, but a similar type of event, set of people and conversations.
Jay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, Robbie. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Thanks, Jay, for inviting us to this meeting. I'm Ravi Velineni. I'm a senior engineer in a financial services company. I'm also interested in distributed systems and storage. So, like Jay mentioned, this is my second DWeb conference I'm attending. So the first one was, new to me overall at that point, the DWeb and the technology itself. Even though I had known about blockchain and the NFTs in 2019, but that's the first time I attended DWeb. I learned a lot of new things and I met great people, like Jay mentioned, that all the conference attendees and the speakers were amazing. So this is like my second conference, and I have met people who already came to the first conference, like a lot of people. I have seen them again, coming again. And I also noticed the projects that were started in 2019. Now they're like, further along in terms of, where they were by 2019 versus in 2022. And also I have came across few new projects and a lot of applications. And like Jay mentioned, it's not necessarily about the, like the mm, money financial aspect. It's more about developing the distributed web technologies that could help, humanity, and also like in remote countries and remote areas where the technology itself is not available, and also there are not many resources uh, in the different parts of the world. So the idea here is like, from lot of sessions I have attended, like use the technology and able to help the remote areas in different parts of the world, whether in South America or in Africa or in India. So I did meet with a lot of people who came from all of those countries, like Jay mentioned. This is, I think, the second time I've met some of them, uh, and some of them I met first time. So it is very great to see they're coming here and taking the technology with them and helping their communities locally using the DWeb, whether through mesh network or through other methods of like holochain apps, or there is other app Butterbox. So I have like previously what I heard just a mesh network. Now I have seen like more applications and more technologies available to help people who don't have like the infrastructure for internet or the uh, financial necessities over there. So that's one thing I liked about overall. And like Jay mentioned, the topic about NFTs and how they are kind of it's not just everybody working on their own way. They're putting together a RFC kind of, where they have everybody's agreeing upon a particular uh, method and following that like an IEEE standard. So that also kind of very interesting to me. and how they're coming up with the standards for NFTs and other modern technologies. Yeah. So,
Ravi, was there a particular session that you got a lot from or enjoyed in particular?
yeah.
Speakers?
So yeah, like I have attended like a couple of like sessions, like participated in Holochain web app development one, just to understand how everything works and how to deploy an application in Holochain network. And the session where you mentioned previously about NFTs, like the certification process, that one. Then also AI, right, where you could use this like technology and similarly, like how Facebook has Oculus, there is a similar to that the open source software version. So we have also attended it. So there are like out of all of this, I think the Holochain app one is one of the thing. I think maybe I got like more learning in terms of how that Holochain works versus like the other Ethereum and whatnot. So there's like here the Holochain, you can have your two nodes that is running Holochain and you can participate. You don't need to like be like have a big network of nodes and participate. So that's I think kind of a little different than other detect chains that's there. Yeah. So that's one of the sessions which I would say I liked most or got most out of it, and other sessions also great. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, Ravi. I had heard about Holochain. I didn't really get it. And I actually spoke with one of their at least former community managers who explained it to me. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, now I see what the real interest is here with Holochain. So I plan to look into that further. Same with Mina, another project that I really wasn't familiar with at all. And I started to get acquainted with that. And they also participated in the Science of Blockchain conference. And I'm very interested in what Mina is up to. Cindy and I sat down with a lot of the key people at Protocol Labs, IPFS, the Interplanetary File System, Filecoin, all those projects. They had a Meet the Team session, and that was really, really awesome to speak with Juan Benet, of the founder of Protocol Labs, and get their vision for the future, what they're up to, and so forth. And yeah, it was amazing. And Ravi, you touched upon a key point. There are a lot of conferences that are a lot larger than DWeb Camp, and for that matter, the Science of Blockchain conference. And they just have a different tone about them. There's much more emphasis on the cryptocurrency side, the monetization side, the value exchange side. And the thing that's really interesting about DWeb Camp, and for that matter, Science of Blockchain, is it's really about moving the entire decentralized web space forward in many dimensions. And just to give a little more background, the idea behind DWeb Camp, as was stated by Wendy Hanamura, who's the main producer and organizer of it, is it's a combination of, there's an event in Europe that's been going on for a number of years called Chaos Communication Camp. And it's a really, really cool event where there's about 4,000 people that meet out in the German countryside for about a week, and they create a whole town or city, whatever, do some really cutting edge stuff. So it's an idea that was sort of originated with Chaos Communication Camp, but it's also designed to be sort of a combination of the artistic side of Burning Man, which actually started immediately after DWeb Camp, and many of the people from DWeb Camp were going to Burning Man afterwards. So if you can imagine this incredibly rich collaborative community getting together, expressing themselves in terms of technology, policy, artistic expression, and just all sorts of creative expression, that was really the essence of DWeb Camp, and is the essence of DWeb Camp. So anything else, Robbie, you'd like to say before I go to Chad?
Yeah, so I also met with a lot of people from like different companies. One, the fellow PhD from the Internet Archive. There are like other people where I kind of able to meet and talk. There is one other group that was doing identity project as well. They're from, I think, San Francisco. So I was able to also talk to them and connect with them. Yeah. So yeah, that's also kind of good to have that individual connection and talk to them and exchange the contacts. Yeah. So that also I liked overall in the conference. Yeah. So
Yep.
Thank you, Jay. Yeah.
Yeah, decentralized identity was a huge topic. Almost everybody was talking about how do we move decentralized identity forward, privacy, having control of our own data. All of those were key topics throughout the DWeb Camp, and for that matter, in the Science of Blockchain conference as well. So, Chad, let's go to you. You attended, you, like myself, have attended both DWeb Camps and the last 2 years of Science of Blockchain conference. So you mind introducing yourself a little bit, and then talking about your experience at, basically all 4 events.
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Thanks, Jay. Let's see. This was my second, or I'm Chad Islander. I work at CVS Health in financial system architecture. I worked with Jay for a long time with Desert Blockchain, and this is our second time around going there in person. There was a year off for the COVID year, and I think with that year off, I was curious as to what to expect with the projects and the progress that had been made in that time off, to see whether projects died or like continued development and things like that. And so also I was going to kind of get a general tenor or idea of what was on the minds of a lot of the people working there, since a lot of them I consider to be kind of like the doers in the space, and the things that they're working on are usually pretty important. And so I liked a lot of the progress that had been made with some of the projects that were kind of small at the time, like the first time around. Filecoin has gotten a lot larger, obviously, than it was, and now is a main contributor to the Internet Archive. And I enjoyed going and seeing the Internet Archive. I hadn't seen it before in San Francisco, so that was a lot of fun. And seeing how those two organizations have like worked together as Filecoin has grown, I think it's positive development in the decentralization space, because they have a lot of similar ideas around storage. And with the future of the Internet Archive, with what is the guy's name? Always with the anyway, he's getting older.
Brewster Kahle.
Kahle, sorry, yeah, Brewster Kahle. He's getting older, and he's not going to be running that forever. It's nice to see kind of a young group of people helping out and getting involved in how to store the world's data in the future. Because it's going to take a lot more than just the Internet Archive to address a lot of these problems. And so I think that the relationship was cool to see and how that can work going forward. I liked how the Braid team and people that met at the first DWeb Camp are working together and submitting things to the IETF and actually working on projects. So that's really cool to see. A lot of cool research on CRDTs has gotten done. that I don't think would have gotten done had they not met at the previous conference. The Scuttlebutt protocol has also come a long way since the first one too. And so it's cool to kind of see those groups stick together and finish protocols, because a lot of these protocols are like 5 to 10 year timeline type projects, and it's not easy to get developers together on a project that long. And so I think that kind of like tells the type of person that is in this space, because they're usually in for the long haul and passionate about these projects. So like that. Jay's talk about zero knowledge proofs. I think I didn't make it to that actual talk, but a lot about it, and met the secure internet voting team, who's actually using it and has a real life application for voting, which is one of the topics that I think is really important. And it's nice to see that other people there are working on projects, developing things in the real life that use some of the new technologies that are like promising. And so that was good to see. And that's a project that I'll be following to kind of see how it develops. The other thing, at some of the talks around censorship I liked, since it's kind of a big issue in my personal opinion, but like in the world with social media and stuff like that. Everybody there, that was one of the main things, is how we can create platforms that are free and open, that can't be censored by like a state actor, but also can address all of the issues that go along with the internet when you do need it. You can't just have unlimited access to all content on the internet. It's a hard problem to solve, but at least they're talking about it, and it's a primary issue for everybody. And it really is kind of more like apolitical. I think everybody sees the need for just a space that nobody controls, at least any political power controls. So that was cool.
Chad, could I interrupt you right there and add something to that? So this area of censorship becomes really, really critical. And if you go to Twitter and you look at the Twitter feed for Juan Benet, who's the founder of Protocol Labs, you'll see that he's gotten active in the last few days to make some suggestions so that the people in Iran can communicate, because this is always one of the areas that's the first to be shut down, is the communication. So I believe they shut down the Signal platform was shut down in Iran, during the protests and so forth. So we've got, in the Ukraine, in Iran, in Russia, whenever there's unrest at critical times, one of the first things to be turned off is the communications mechanisms. So this is really, really valuable, really important. And the folks at Protocol Labs have created ways for the people to communicate in Turkey, in Spain, and I believe in China as well, during periods of unrest and conflict. And I think it's really, really important. And even in the United States, as we speak, there are some efforts to ban books in libraries. So it's a really important part of this this realm. And also to dovetail with another part of what you were talking about, Chad, the collaboration aspect is critical. I spoke to a founder of one of the major wallet and browser platforms, has millions of users on it. And he shared with me that out of a conversation at, I think it was DWeb Camp 2019, or maybe it was one of the Decentralized Web Summits prior, just one short conversation where a team shared with him what they were working on. And that sparked a whole new realm of investigation and innovation by him. So Wendy Hanamura, if you're listening to this, in the future, my hat's off to you, because you will never be able to measure the innovation that you've sparked with your passion and your dedication to creating these events. And we'll never be able to fully measure it, but suffice it to say, these events spark incredible collaboration, innovation, and moving the whole space forward. So sorry, Chad, I cut you off, but
Oh, no, that's a great issue. So yeah, that was kind of, those are my bigger highlights for DWeb Camp. Also, the development of Chainlink has come a long way since the first DWeb Camp. Sergey, because I ended up meeting at the first DWeb Camp, and now Chainlink is kind of like a massive, colossal, huge part of the crypto space and pivotal to the future of the space. And so I think they've done a great job in developing that what is now is a billion-dollar company, huge company. So that progress was really, really good to see.
yeah, just to give people an idea, I believe the market cap of Chainlink is north of $3 to $4 billion.
Yeah.
And that's a project that you actually connected with the founder at the first DWeb Camp in 2019, if I'm not mistaken, Chad. And it was just kind of an idea in his head, right?
Yeah, well, they had just started, but the reality is that it's worth, its market cap, but the billions of market cap for all of the companies that use it as a critical piece of their infrastructure for really essentially smart contracts and any type of trading that uses smart contract would be using Chainlink. And so it is a critical aspect to the whole crypto space and future of the space. And so it's good to see his leadership and progress in the space, because few people can run a critical piece of the crypto ecosystem that well. Most of them don't last that long.
His name's Sergey, by the way.
Yeah, Sergey.
And you introduced me to him, which we had a great conversation, and it sparked some ideas. So yeah.
And so that
okay.
was DWeb. Do you want me to go into anything about the other one, or about the?
Yeah, science of blockchain would be great.
Okay, cool. How much time do we have? Okay, I'll go quick. The science of blockchain, I liked the lots of progress is made in zero knowledge proofs. The conference itself was pretty packed. So I think it had a different type of person. The energy of this one was a lot different than the first science of blockchain. Because that was the beginning of the crypto space, and it wasn't bad or different, but they've definitely tried to lock it down into a technical conference. And so I think that's good for a number of reasons. It gets the right people in the room. But then it is also kind of, it's fun to have the flair there. But, cryptos are down a lot right now. So it's like, all you had to talk about is the technical part, not how much money everyone's lost. So that was great to see. Met a lot of cool people there. I liked Cello Labs. I like seeing that project, even though I wasn't that familiar with it. It's one that I'm much more familiar with now. And I think there's great aspects of that project that can be important. And so that was good to see. And then, so yeah, I think those are the highlights for me right now.
Yeah, we did. Chad and I attended a couple of after session events that also I thought were awesome, where we got to sit down, have dinner with a couple of people that are incredibly talented, both PhDs. One came from a background in physics, and also a PhD in cryptography. So that was, really valuable as well. And I would like to touch a little bit about anything else you want to say?
No.
Chad? So one of the areas that's under investigation and innovation is decentralized voting using zero knowledge proofs. And as Chad and Cindy mentioned, I did a session where I did a demonstration of that. And it came together very well. And just yesterday, I did another demonstration of that at Arizona State University, Sandra Day O'Connor College of Law. And I just want to use that as a point to bring home here, because in my latest presentation, which I haven't posted yet to the general public, but there's a video that came from DEF CON, which was in Las Vegas, which is a cybersecurity conference. And that was happening, I believe, in August as well, about the middle of August. And it's called United We Stand. And it's from the Maricopa County technical people that run the elections here in Arizona. And I highly recommend you take a look at it. It's called United We Stand, but it's about 30 minutes, I believe. But it is incredible what these people go through in order to assure the integrity of our voting process. And even with all the steps that they use and assure, replacing equipment worth $10 million, having basically like an armed set of law enforcement people there to assure that they can get in and out of the building safely. With all of that, there's still this untrust of the centralized voting systems. So the decentralized voting systems, using these things called zero knowledge proofs, I think is a critical piece to assure that we can raise the trust level in our elections and assure that we have a continued democracy going forward. And that's just one of the areas that is under investigation among this decentralized web community, where there can be real progress that's made in fundamental pieces of our society and our human geopolitics, economics around the world, including in the Ukraine. And if you take a look at the countries at the Ukrainian government, they are very much reliant upon blockchain, and they have been investigating blockchain for a number of years as part of their fortifying their society and their ability to govern themselves and maintain their realm of military ability. Also the state of Estonia. So again, I started this off saying, hey, if you look at the website at DWeb Camp, it looks like a kind of a yoga retreat, but I can assure you that the dimensions that are being created and innovated there are fundamental, in my view, to all people around the world having a new realm of connectivity and relationship and basically empowerment. So that's kind of my 2 cents. Anything else? Ravi had to drop off, but that's about all I wanted to cover tonight. Any other closing thoughts before I wrap it up? Okay. All right. Well, thank you for your time and attention watching this and letting us share our experience of both DWeb Camp as well as Science of Blockchain Conference. And please continue to tune in to Desert Blockchain. Join our meetup if you haven't already done so. And we have these sessions on the 4th Wednesdays of the month. And the next session, I think, is October 26th. And it will be sort of a Halloween celebration, which will be also parallel with the 14th anniversary of the release of the Bitcoin white paper, which basically started this whole area off. And we have on the second Saturday of the month an open house at Desert Blockchain Camp. So thank you very much. Oh, we are community supported through our Patreon citizen program. So please check that out as well. All right. Well, thanks to Ravi, Cindy, and Chad for participating. And thank you, Internet Archive, and all the other organizers of both DWeb Camp as well as Science of Blockchain Conference. So thank you and have a good evening.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jay.